For anybody who's wondering how much success David had as an IB bringing investors to traders, let me just interject a little story. David and I met a few years ago through a mutual acquaintance. Yes, because after years in the industry of bringing investors to brokers, he had a database in the seven figures of investors. Okay, I won't go into exact details. And I believe already at the time, you didn't tell me, right? But already at the time, you were probably planning your way out of the industry because this was supposed to be your last big hurrah to just use this database, one last time and then just go off into the sunset.
Yeah, absolutely. The beaches were really, I was really had my feet firm in the beaches, and for the almost like 95% of my time in the industry, I haven't been working in an office, right? I haven't been working with, I've been doing, as I say, the nomadic remote working thing before it was popular. Why? Because some people will say I'm an asshole to be in the office with, especially in the mornings. And, I am, yeah. And also the freedom that it brings was just really exciting. And then obviously, as you know, once I got a dog, I really didn't want to leave its side and he didn't want to leave my side. So,
you succeeded in getting the dog in.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that was great. And, I struggled to see how I would fit into that sort of traditional working environment again, because, like a lot of other people, I'm fairly set in my ways of the way that I like to work and the way that I like to operate. And I really just don't like taking shit from people. I had didn't have the best experience in my first position where I was in Switzerland with a lot of people that were working there, which could have been my fault, could have been their fault. It's really irrelevant. I just felt that, I was wasting a lot of time. I felt that I could achieve more on the path that I wanted to go down versus working for them. And to be honest with you, I know that a lot of those guys are still working there, and congratulations to them. But just the idea of having spent, 2 decades in one place.
Well, this brings me now to the glorious rant that we spoke about in the beginning, right? Because, most people, when they decide to retire from an industry, they do it more or less either quietly, or they say, congratulations to everyone else, you're on your way, I'm done, goodbye. No, that is not David Rose's way. You went on an absolute rant, which was amazing. I mean, there were a lot of truth bombs in there. Why did that happen? Why did you decide to almost blow up all those bridges?
Good question. I think there's a couple of things there. I think the main thing was, I'm all in with what I do, with whatever. I'm an extremist in that sense. And I think at the time, I'd just come back from Asia after spending some time in the jungle, pushing my comfort zones, training with the Filipino Marines over there and going through some hell weeks and, re-engaging my sort of passion and fire, if you like, of wanting to achieve stuff, getting off the couch and doing stuff. And one of the lessons that you always get taught in these types of environments is, making a decision is cutting off all other outcomes. You are just fucking going for it. No excuses, no bullshit. You will find a fucking way. And that's something that I've always, been around people who are like that. Even when I was, started off in sales, knocking on doors, I had some great sales trainers, and, they would really talk to me about attitude. And a lot of the time people confuse my aggressiveness for being over emotional, but I don't apologize for that, because I am a firm believer of just fucking going and getting it done if that's what you're going to go and do. So I think I put that out there a lot for myself, because it was a question of, okay, we just got to go in a different direction. And at the same time, I wanted to put my fingers up to a lot of other people who I just thought were assholes. And I think we're actually just by being or doing what they're doing within the industry, I think that they're actually having a real negative effect on the industry. foreign exchange or financial markets is a fantastic tool for everybody to get involved in some shape, way, or form. You know, and if it's not, you know, if you're lucky enough to come across something that isn't a just straight out scam, you know, you still have other problems that you're going to face, which a lot of the time people don't understand. You know, they don't understand how the markets are going to move or how the program will work against you, for example.
But hold on, but now you're talking about the actual traders. How about, tell me the issues that you've seen for IBs in the industry. I mean, you were in IB for so long.
Yeah, so, you know, I'd see IBs go through similar situations than myself, right? That they would go, it would be very cyclical. They would have, you know, a load of clients that they would work really, really hard on building up a rapport with and counting them as clients. They would have a lot of trust with the person that they were dealing with, and they would put them into a, you know, introduce them to a trader or get them involved in some sort of type of trading, and then maybe something would happen and they would take, you know, the fall, or they would have the issues, and this you know, many a time this, you know, trading teams would just carry on as normal. They didn't have to almost take the responsibility, right? And yet the reputation of the IB was damaged, or the motivation of the IB was killed. Maybe they've made, you know, 10, 15, 30 grand in a month for 4 months, and then all of a sudden their income is gone. Now, salespeople, you know, we live and die by the sword, right? So if you make 30 grand in 1 month, you've spent it by the next month and you've got nothing to show for it. And then when it stops, you're like, shit, I need to borrow $100 to get started again. And I would see this happen to people, and I'd see that their soul's just being crushed, you know, because...
Well, and that's assuming that they actually got paid by the broker.
A whole other story. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people talk about paper profits, right? Fucking hell, for introducing brokers, it's paper profits, don't pay the bit, you know, don't pay the bills. And you know, that would be just something that would just be, you know, people would be living paycheck to paycheck, expecting commissions coming in, and then for whatever reason there was a delay, then there was a problem, then there was this, and you know, the end result is that there were so many people, I think, or introducing brokers, that found themselves in a position where they're talking about huge sums of money all day long about trading and this and the markets, and they're, you know, they've got great ideas and this and the other. Yeah, they didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And, you know, I think that was, you know, that was just dumb. It was stupid. And I was falling into that trap as well. And my patience for it all was really, really low, because I'd heard, you know, by that time I'd been around the block. I'd heard it all before. Oh, you've got a great trading system. Oh yeah, who does this? Oh, does 25% a month every month? Wow, that's amazing. You know, I've heard all that shit before, you know, and it didn't matter if I would, you know, put my point of view across to these people. It didn't matter, because they were focused on what they were doing and what they thought was right. And I think a lot of the time why these things fail is because not because out of malice, not because out of you know, a bad intent. I think a lot of people have good intent. It's just that they don't know what they're fucking doing. And life, right? And those things happen, but it has an effect. It means your client loses money, right? And
well, it also means the client loses trust in you.
Exactly. I've been lucky that I've had a couple of clients who've stayed with me, but you know, through thick and thin and stuff like that. But these guys, you know, they're professional investors, and when I mean professional investors, they're putting money everywhere, anywhere that they see fit for their portfolio. They understand the markets,